can yes and amen that. You need to.
I'm shocked that I had never heard of this guy. I watched that video the first time and I ugly cried.
What do you think about that, huh?
It's got my wheels turning and
What do you think about that, huh?
That's the Jesus that Mormons believe in. Dallas Jenkins. Is that the Jesus that you presented in this TV series?
What do you think about that, huh?
Phenomenal album, Irons in the Fire, Zeta Blacksmith.
What do you think about that, huh?
Hey everybody, welcome back to Unsolicited episode 52. I'm your host, Norm the Master's Dog Dunham, aka the Evangelical Norm. So Unsolicited is just that. My unsolicited opinion on arts and entertainment as it intersects with a Christian worldview, movies, TV shows, music, videos, books. The majority of what I do is album reviews of guys that I really like in the Christian hip-hop world. When I get a new album, I listen to it, and then I review it and put it out to you guys so you can enjoy it as well. Encourage you to go buy those albums. And so that's really the nuts and bolts of what I do here at Unsolicited, is mostly album reviews. As I get more into, I've done a couple of movie reviews, the Chosen TV show, I've talked about it. Stuff like that, and especially as things intersect with the Christian worldview. I've had guys, I actually have one that I haven't gotten to yet. Jared, I apologize. I've just been swamped. Jared sent me a video that he wanted me to take a look at and respond to. So anything like that. I mean, if there's something out there that you see that you would say, you know what, I'd like to see what Norm has to say about this, send it to me. I'll be happy to do, whether it's a first-time reaction video, whether I watch it and study it and then kind of break it down, any of those things, I'm willing to take that. So any suggestions you have, give them to me. I get a lot of things from, sometimes I'll get guys who are releasing an album that'll say, here, let you listen to this a little while early, and then, drop a review the day it's released, stuff like that. I'm not one, when I do an album review, I don't get it, listen to it for a day, and then talk about it. I really want to get into the album. So a lot of times it's a week to 2 weeks after the album comes out, unless I can get an early release of it, which sometimes happens by being a Patreon supporter or those things. And then I can devote time to it before, and then when it's released, I can hit it the day of the release and kind of let those two things coincide. But I really want to get inside and really get to the meat of the album. I'm a guy that I love a beat. And if I get something that, and this album that we're going to look at today, is one of those where it takes me a long time to actually hear the lyrics of a song because I'm so lost in the beat. And so I'll get distracted, dancing, grooving, doing my thing, play that funky music, white boy, you look like a moron. Don't do that anymore. And then I lose the lyrics. But again, with Christian hip hop, the lyrical theology that most of these guys are putting out. Now, there are some guys that just want to put out, that are Christian, that just want to put out fun music. And that's fine. I mean, if you're a Christian and you want to just do, an album, I mean, I'll take a look at that and listen to that. I may enjoy it. I may be entertained by it. The stuff that these guys do within this kind of realm of Christian hip hop that I live in, I mean, these guys are bringing knowledge with the words. They are bringing doctrine. They are theologians within the words of their songs. And even those that are like, political topics and stuff like that, every single one of them is still got their foundation in the gospel, which means it's, you wouldn't just listen to you can get happy-go-lucky entertainment sermons from guys like Joel Osteen and stuff, but I mean, when you get a deep theologically sound and rich sermon from a guy, say like my pastor Brian Sauvé, or from a Jeff Durbin or C.J. Mahaney or Alistair Begg or any of these guys that really devote a lot of time to just theologically rich sermons. I mean, the self-help stuff is there that you can get it, and it might even be enjoyable, but the rich stuff, you need to get into it, and you need to listen, and you need to take notes, and you need to be a Berean and go check the scriptures and stuff that they throw out. And that's why I spend the time in the songs, because a lot of these songs, they're not just, off the dome kind of, just entertainment lyrics. This is lyrical theology, to use a term. I don't know if Shai Linne coined that term or not, but somebody did, and it's a term that I love. And so today is not going to be any different. So we're going to take a look at an album today by The Apologist and Quiet Storm. So this is Volume 2 of Rhyme with Reason. The last one, the Rhyme with Reason Volume 1, came out, I want to say, was it 2017, maybe? Let's take a look. Rhyme with Reason, Volume 1, 2019. Wow, it feels like it was a lot longer ago. Should not have this much time between albums. Quiet Storm, I love. Emerson, what is I just blanked on his last name. I think it's Emerson Davis. Again, why did I just completely, totally blank on his last name? I'm pretty sure it's Davis. I'm 99.98% confident that it is Emerson Davis Sr. So yeah, wow. We're friends on Facebook too. I should have. I did. That's where I remembered it from, but I got it. So Emerson Davis Sr., Quiet Storm, Will Mendoza, The Apologist, collaborating again and I loved the first album. I found out about him and found out about that album listening to an episode of Cross Examine, with when Tony from Hazakim was still on there with Kirk Kennedy. And they were talking, and they were getting into, going way back, the Dynamic Twins, and just talking about some old school hip hop stuff like that. And then they had an interview. I can't remember if Will was on there or not, but I know they had the interview with Emerson Davis, and so that's when I first found the first album, Rhyme with Reason Volume 1. And I loved it. And I've been waiting for the second album to come, or anything else by him, for a long time, since April of 2019. So almost 2 years since the last album dropped. So we have this album. It is out. It is, you can pick it up. It's completely out everywhere. It was released a week early on Bandcamp. So I've had it a little bit longer. I believe it was last week that it was made available everywhere. So you can get it Amazon Music, iTunes, wherever it is. I still recommend you go to Bandcamp. I believe, from hearing what other guys have said, Stract and so on, Bandcamp is where the artist gets the most bang for their buck. The more money goes to them. And I'm not sure if Bandcamp is still doing the First Friday thing where like 93% of the revenue goes directly to the artist. So it may not be that anymore, but basically Bandcamp waived their processing fees and stuff like that to where more of the revenue goes to the artist. And then the other thing I like about Bandcamp is you can leave a tip. You can pay a little extra. If the album costs, they give you the option of putting in how much money you're going to pay, and it says, like $7.99 or more. You can put in more. You go to a restaurant. I went to a restaurant this morning, had breakfast with one of my brothers, and it was really good food, and it's always really good food. I eat there all the time. Shout out to Criddles Cafe. And I always try to leave a really big tip because I appreciate the food, the service, the people, the atmosphere, everything that they put into making it a good experience. I want to bless them by giving a good tip. And we should do the same thing with the music. I mean, they spend a lot of time. The Will Mendoza, the Apologist, and the artists that he works with, in this case, we're talking about Emerson Davis, but I mean, he's done recent albums with Regenerate. He's done, well, I think Regenerate was with Doctrinal, but still a Christ-centric thing, with Kirk Kennedy, with Believe in Stephen. And so, I mean, again, he does these albums, and they put a lot of time and effort and stuff. I think there's something coming up with Zeta Blacksmith. A little teaser video out on Facebook here recently, but bring it back around to this album. So I've been waiting for a while. I loved the first one. This one, I love it more, if that's possible. I mean, they're such good albums, and they're such deep meaning in the lyrics, and then the beats. Again, and this is what I'm really loving about the last few albums that the Apologist has done with other people, and even like the Doctrinal Regenerate album, going back as far as like November of 2019, I think it was, the Evangelical and Chris Jones collaboration, where they're putting all the instrumental tracks on there as well. So this is awesome because I've been playing these, like I work a graveyard shift, so I sleep during the day, so I play music, tell myself go to sleep, and so I'm listening to these songs as I go, and then as soon as it hits into where it's just the instrumental, I mean, boom, I am out like a light. But I love these instrumentals that are there, and I'm like, I may just need to have some of that, maybe get permission. I would always get permission to use any of these in my podcast, but having like a little, just a music bed underneath. I mean, a lot of podcasters do that. I've never really done music underneath. I would get distracted. Hearing it, but these, maybe I could deal with it with just the instrumental. I couldn't have a lyric song underneath my podcasting, but again, I'm rabbit trailing. So it is a 14-track album, 7 tracks with lyrics, and then 7 tracks of just the instrumentals of those songs. So as we go through these, looking at this, Motives was Motives grabs you immediately, and I'll play a little clip of Motives, and then my favorite song, I think my favorite song on here, as I listen more and more, sometimes they change from day to day, but my favorite song on here is Audience of One. And I think partially because we had worship leaders way back in the day that did an album, and the name of their group, the two people, when they did albums of just worship songs, they were called Audience of One. So this kind of brings up some just the title, but the lyrics and so on, as he's talking about why he does this. And again, I'll play part of that song for you so you can hear it and just kind of get the gist of what's up. But the reality, the underlying thing, and I heard, again, an interview I heard with Kirk Kennedy a few years back on Wrath and Grace Radio. It's what inspired me to actually do podcasting. But he was talking about, Christian artists are always saying, well, we don't do this for a spot in the top 10. And that may be a truth, but anybody who puts the talent and the time and the energy into making stuff if you just want to make music that glorifies God, you can make a joyful noise, and it doesn't have to be all that great and stuff like that. If you're not doing it for a spot in the top 10 and you just want to put it out there and sing your praises to the Lord, then fine. But these guys are artists. They are talented men who are putting there's so much time, effort, and energy into making really good music because the reality is they don't just want God to like it, but they want everyone to be to enjoy it and appreciate it and let it glorify God in that way. So there's a couple of truths there that are going on. The reality that it is true that their ultimate audience is God, but they take the time and the energy to make it really good so that other people enjoy it as well. But that whole issue of audience of one is and let me just let him sing it for you. So I'm going to hit audience of one first, and then we'll go back to motives. But this is my favorite song on this album. This is Audience of One, and here we go.
Man, sometimes I must admit I let my pride get in the way, and I think it's all about me, and I lose focus. So busy trying to impress people, and I forget that it's really not about me. It's all about him. There's been jobs that I've worked that I end up getting fired from, where I had people telling me I inspired them, teaching the gospel to hundreds of kids, never getting any credit. Was it something I did? Constantly being overlooked, taken for granted. Would they even know if I was erased from the planet? And I know it's never been about getting the praises, but everybody but me is getting them raises. I got a family to feed, a son that's in private school, and staying humble, I know it's something I must do, but I feel like all I do is minimize, and behind my back, I'm getting criticized. The raw emotion I feel leads me to vent, and I often forget that all I need is him. Lord, change my heart, cause I'm stressed, I need you. Help me focus on your grace and not impressing people. Throughout the hurt, Lord, and throughout the pain, I've learned one thing, and it still remains. I'm gonna serve you till all of this is done, cause I'm doing this for an audience of one. For you, they might not say my name, I might be unseen, but I'm doing this all for the one king. I'm gonna serve you till all of this is done, cause I'm doing this for an audience of one.
All right, so there's a little clip of Audience of One. If you want to hear the whole song, you got to go buy the album. So, and that is my rule. I'm not playing the whole thing. If they do a video or something like that, I'll play the whole thing on there. If you can just access it on YouTube and stuff, I play that. But I don't give you the whole thing because I'm just going to give you a little bit of a teaser so you can go buy the album, because I want you to go buy the album. I want you to support these brothers that are making really good lyrical theology. And let me back up a minute, because it almost sounded like I kind of contradicted him and said, well, no, they do this for the recognition. It is possible to truly have your motive to be to glorify God and then want to, people to enjoy what you're doing. I mean, no artist does music because they don't want people to enjoy it. But again, it's where is your primary motive? What is your primary goal? Is it to get rich, which we've seen people we won't name that other people have made comments about them about they crossed over and didn't take the crossover, right? Sometimes the motives become, I want the recognition, and I'm going to cut the name of Jesus out of my songs. I'm not going to address it the same way that I did because this is what my new motive is. It is okay. It is possible to say, I want people to really enjoy my music, but the ultimate motive is, and they get into this a little bit in the song Motives towards the end. You'll have to listen to that. I'm going to play the beginning of it for you. You'll have to wait to hear the punchline at the end of it. But it truly is, you do your best to glorify God, and then you let the chips fall. You want people to like it. I know that the Apologist and Quiet Storm, Will and Emerson, want people to like this music. They want it to do well, because in that God is glorified. But if nobody bought this, they would still have fulfilled a motive that is the ultimate underlying thing. God gave them something to say and a beat to put it to, and they to put it together and they put it out. And that's the motive. The hope is that everybody likes it. So here is the first track on the album, Motives. This is the one that's right there at the top that's going to grab you right off the bat. So here we go, Motives, Quiet Storm, and The Apologist.
We are going to take a look inside the mind of an up-and-coming Christian hip-hop artist who just swears he knows it all. We're gonna find out he has the wrong motive. Yo, when this album drop, it's gonna open doors. I'm talking shows galore, I will go on tour. I'm in my bag now, ain't nobody matching my grind. I'm here, so make your way to the back of the line. I got the metaphors, rhyme schemes, and similes. Doctrines on point, I teach the Trinity. I'm seminary trained with a little hood in me. Born radically depraved, there's nothing good in me. So who better than I can replace all you veteran guys who need to retire from your rhyme spitting? All your music sounds the same, but mine's different. CHH is dead, too much secular side switching, so the time is mine. I got the flyest rhymes, you know what? I can even quit my 9 to 5, so don't question me. Changing the game, that's my legacy. My goal and motivation is to be the best MC. Everybody just trying to be next up. Come against me with them rhymes, only best luck. This game is really shady, that's why there is less love. It takes much more than what you bring to impress us. What's your motive? Do you rap for bragging rights, or what's your motive? Do you rap for cash and ice, or what's your motive? Who do you impact on life, or what's your motive? Do you point cash to price?
All right, so there you go. There is your little bit of taste of Motives. Again, that beat, man. Will Mendoza, man. That dude, that is talent for days. I wish I could bottle some of that up and buy it. Right? I mean, I don't know that, and I say this honestly, because if I don't know that I have ever heard an Apologist beat that I didn't like, or that I was just like, right? I mean, every single one of them, I'm like, that is just amazing. And then you put Quiet Storm over the top of it. I mean, I love the way the guy's lyrics. I love the way he flows. Everything. So there you go. This is a fanboy review of this album, and I'm not ashamed at all that it is what it is, because I love these guys. So with that being said, go buy this album. Wherever it is you're going to buy this, don't stream it. Don't just go get it on your Spotify Premium or whatever, or iTunes. Buy it. Spend $10 and purchase this album so that these brothers can get paid to take that money and give you more, because that's what they're going to do. I mean, the reality is they want, I will say this, they want to glorify God. They want people to enjoy their music. None of these guys is doing this to get rich. None of these guys are doing it, even with the idea that they might get rich. Nobody sticks in the CHH world thinking they're going to get rich. They go the way of other guys that have received a lot of criticism lately, that endorsed a pro-choice Democrat governor, or not governor, but senator in Georgia, to get rich. They move out. They cross over, and they don't take the crossover. Nobody's staying in the lyrical theology world to become a billionaire or a millionaire. They want to make money so they can take that and turn that into more music, more stuff, put their talent to glorify God out there. That requires money, so they want to recoup what they put into one project and make enough to get to the next one. So I'm telling you, please go out, go to Bandcamp, go to wherever, and drop the price of 2 frou-frou latte, whatever, I don't drink at Starbucks, so I hate their coffee. But the price of 2 large Starbucks coffees, 2 large McDonald's coffees, 2 large 7-Eleven coffees, wherever it is you buy your coffee, 2 larges, the price that it takes for that, go put it down on an album that you will love. I guarantee you will like this album. I don't care who you are. You will like this album. You will like the beats. You will like the lyrics. You will enjoy and appreciate this album. God is glorified. The gospel is in there. It is an amazing album, and you need to go get it. Why haven't you got it already? Go. Buy it. And as always, preach the gospel at all times. Use words. They're necessary. And until next time, Soli Deo Gloria.